The hammock's really comfy, thank God, so I should sleep well, I would think.
Dan, who runs the channel Cursed Urban, decided to go on a solo camping trip near the notorious Skinwalker Forest, on a private plot of land belonging to his buddy Todd. The goal was simple: one quiet night alone out in the wilderness. He pitched his tent, got a fire going, and settled in for what looked like a relaxing evening. But once the sun went down, something about the atmosphere changed. Strange voices began drifting through the trees, faint, distant, and deeply unnatural. Dan powered up his equipment, determined to document whatever was out there.
With me, could you give me a sign? Maybe,
My name is Helen.
My name is Helen. Maybe move something if you want. Maybe move something in the fire, or if it's too hot, maybe move a tree branch or move a stick or something. Could you do that for me? Daughter. Did you guys just hear that? Dude, did you guys just hear that?
Hello, why are you here?
I just heard like a howl from over there, but it was like...
Then, somewhere around 3 in the morning, just as he was drifting off, something jolted him wide awake. His first thought was that it might be Todd, but a quick phone call ruled that out immediately. Shaken, Dan stepped out of his tent and made a horrifying discovery. Someone had doused the entire outside of his tent in lighter fluid while he was sleeping inside it.
Who's out here? Dude, there's 100. Show yourself now. Holy sh! Yo, you gotta be kidding me. Dude. Whoever this is... What the... Dude, they just sprayed my entire tent down with lighter fluid. And I'm covered in it now. Look at that. They literally sprayed the entire tent down with lighter fluid. And that... Dude, they were going to light it up. Yo, dude, they were going to light...
Whoever had done it had already vanished into the darkness. Law enforcement showed up, but the perpetrator was never identified or caught.
Just made it back home. It is very early in the morning. Dude, tonight was a mess. Tonight was a mess. So after the last clip that you guys saw, because I literally dropped my camera on the ground and it shut off, Todd showed up about 2-3 minutes later. We looked around, didn't see anybody, called the cops, filed a report. That was basically it. There was no exciting conclusion of the night. Like, we didn't find anybody. We didn't find any evidence of anybody except for, like, what
One thing is absolutely certain though, Dan woke up at exactly the right moment, because had he slept through it, this story would have had a very different ending. Camper Vibe is a well-known YouTube channel, boasting more than 110,000 subscribers, celebrated primarily for its content around camping adventures and van renovations. Yet one episode stands in a category entirely its own, a solo overnight expedition into one of the most notorious locations in all of the United Kingdom, the Screaming Woods of Daring. Situated near Pluckley in Kent. Widely regarded as England's most haunted forest, these woods carry a reputation so deeply unsettling, it would rattle even the most seasoned thrill seeker. The woman behind Camper Vibe made the decision to spend 48 hours there with no one but herself for company. As a veteran solo female camper accustomed to remote and rugged environments, she's not someone who frightens easily. This time though, the suffocating atmosphere of Daring Woods, layered with a long and sinister past, presented a challenge unlike anything she'd faced before. The forest earned its chilling nickname from the disturbing sounds that locals and visitors have long reported after dark. Bone-chilling screams and ghostly footsteps drifting through the mist. Regional folklore overflows with dark tales. An 18th century military colonel who ended his own life, a highwayman brutally slain somewhere among the trees, and shadowy apparitions said to trail unsuspecting travelers through the undergrowth. Initially, things appeared entirely unremarkable. She set up camp deep within the forest, cooking steak and chips over an open fire like any ordinary evening outdoors. But once darkness settled in, the peace evaporated, replaced by strange and deeply unsettling sounds. Her camera captured something unusual as she sat beside the flames.
See, a Cadbury's pot of joy. Yogurt, basically, chocolate yogurt. There is a lot of noises in these woods. Where's my spoon? Sounds like kids screaming. That's just a train. Is it a bird or is it kids screaming? That's a bird. That's a gunshot. The hammock's really comfy, thank God, so I should sleep well, I would think. Where's my big bean? What was that noise? This is definitely odd.
Then, somewhere around 2 a.m., the situation took a genuinely disturbing turn. At 3:50 in the morning, a sudden commotion sent the crows into an absolute frenzy, their frantic cawing tearing through the silent forest as though something invisible had set them off.
What the fuck is going on?
So do the legends surrounding the Screaming Woods hold any truth? This Camper Vibe episode refuses to give a clean answer, instead pulling viewers into one of Britain's most eerie corners, a place where centuries of dark history and haunting folklore are woven into the roots of every ancient tree.
I'm really excited to go to Quartzsite all year. I'm really excited to spend the winter there. But right now, it's pretty much 100 degrees. In fact, next week it's going to be over 100 degrees every day there. And I'm just testing to see if I can handle it. Currently,
that sense of safety was shattered the moment a man pulled up in a Nat V, claiming he lived in the area and made a habit of checking on people to ensure they had enough water. He had no ranger credentials and wasn't carrying any water with him. Yet he stuck around, peppering her with questions, over-explaining himself, and keeping his eyes fixed on her the entire time.
hi.
You okay?
Yes, I am.
I'm just kind of checking, making sure everybody's got enough water and...
Oh, okay. Are you a ranger or?
No, I just live close.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of come out and check, make sure, because I know there's a lot of people that come out here that don't have a lot.
I'm fine right now. I don't know if I'll stay here, but I just wanted to check it out and see. It's pretty hot though.
Do you do this, like, is this what you do for a living? Do you, like, travel around or what?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah?
Yep,
So
gotta
how
wait
long
it
have
out.
you been doing this for?
I've been in the van for like...
Once he drove off, something deep in her gut told her this wasn't right. Sure enough, within minutes he was back. This time with a warning. There was another man up on the mountain, he said, watching her through binoculars.
Hey,
Hi.
so you have a guy
Uh-huh.
on the mountain up there that is watching you with binoculars.
Okay, well, that's unnerving. Well, I guess I won't be staying.
Well, it's not that you can't stay. Just, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The other side of the mountain is safer.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
He's driving a older Dodge pickup. And he told me he comes out here and offers water
Uh-huh.
to people.
Mm-hmm.
But I would stay away from him. He told me he parks up there and looks around to see who might need water, who might need this, who might need that. And I was like, I turned and looked and went, well, her fucking camper is right in the open.
Yeah. So did you catch him watching me, or did he just tell you that he was watching me?
When I pulled up, he had his field glasses up, looking this direction, and I was like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking to see if there's anybody that needs water.
But the story had holes in it. Every detail he used to describe this so-called washer, offering water, circling campsites, studying people from a distance, was a perfect mirror of his own behavior. As Alyssa began loading up her van to get out of there, the man just sat parked directly in front of it, motionless, staring, offering no explanation for why he hadn't left.
You know,
Yeah, it's also just odd that there's not really anybody out here.
get a good description of that truck.
It was a white truck.
It's white and burgundy. Honestly, I'd move to the other side.
So, I mean, I did want to stay because it's nice out here and it's quiet, but if there's somebody watching me, then obviously I don't think I should stay out here at all.
Well, that's fine. That's your choice too.
Yeah. That's really sucks. It was really nice out here, but well, at least I got to put my laundry away. It's always easier to do housekeeping out in the open rather than in the city somewhere. So just finish.
She listened to every instinct screaming at her and got out of that desert as fast as her van would carry her, because sometimes the most terrifying thing about being alone in the wild isn't the silence or the solitude.
Could away from the desert BLM land. So the guy that I was talking about earlier, the one who stopped to see if I need.
It's the moment you realize you were never actually alone.
The hackles are up and her ears laying back. Well, we would like to get through. It's supper time. I don't know if I want my window down when she's doing that. We just want to get by, lady.
He's not letting us by. Come on, miss. We don't want anything to do with you. God. Get out of here.
Positions herself directly in the path ahead, ears pinned back against her skull as she aggressively holds her ground. Every time the men in the truck attempt to nudge forward, she responds instantly. There's no getting past her. She charges the vehicle not once but twice. First, she drives her head straight into the front grille, then throws the full weight of her shoulder into the side of the truck. Remarkably, the hunters inside keep their composure throughout the whole ordeal, appearing to recognize that what they're witnessing isn't blind fury, it's a mother in full protective mode. standing between a threat and her unseen calves somewhere nearby. When a wild animal is fighting for its offspring, the only thing standing between you and catastrophe might be a sheet of steel. So ask yourself, what would you do if a massive creature suddenly started battering your vehicle? February 2022, a solo female van dweller who goes by the name Asleep 5 Decades had pulled into a remote location for the night when at 4:37 in the morning, she was jolted awake. Someone was rapping on the side of her van, directly behind where her head lay.
It's now 4:57, but at 4:37, so like 20 minutes ago, I was in a deep sleep, and I was woken from a knock, like right where my head is, ironically. So I was like frozen. I looked at the time, and it was very strange to me, like who would be knocking on.
3 knocks, then nothing. She called out into the dark, no response. She caught a glimpse of a figure on a bicycle at the top of the driveway. They rode off. 15 minutes passed, then came another knock. This time a voice came with it.
Like a knock on the side of my van again. How can I help you? And they say, I got a question for you. And I said, it's 4:30 in the morning. I don't feel safe. And so I quietly got up and I went to the front and I peeked out and parked way up on the drive. All I could see is like headlights, and then they backed out.
I've got a question for you. She told him it was 4:30 in the morning and that she didn't feel safe. Peering out toward the front, she spotted headlights. The vehicle reversed and disappeared. But they came back a third time. No knocking on this visit, just the sound of footsteps making slow laps around the van. She looked out and watched a figure walking, then ducking behind a tree, before eventually returning to that same car.
Hear that? Yeah, somebody was just here again 3 times now. The third time I looked out, they were walking on foot. I seen them walking and they hid behind the tree there, and then they went to a car, the same car that was here earlier. Well, that was
3 separate visits, one night, the same individual, the same vehicle, and every time they were getting a little more daring. Come daylight, she found what they'd left behind, footprints pressed into the snow, large ones far bigger than her own. Someone had made a complete circuit around her van. 2 of her water containers had been tossed aside, 8 liters emptied and discarded.
Morning, and you can see footprints. Look at this one. This is mine. I'll show you. There's mine. See? Right here. Look. Somebody spilled 2 of my water bottles right there. 8 liters of water gone, but I don't know why. I don't know why they were, look, see? And then over here, these are like literally footprints. I never go there. If I collect my snow, I go right on this path and I cross over here, and that's my spot right there. But look, they were actually, there's some more, look at that. They came here, they were standing here, as you can see. Look at the footprints though, look at that, that's massive. See that?
Whoever it was knew she was in there. They'd knocked at the back, exactly where someone living out of a van would be sleeping. They had been observing her. Who returns 3 times in a single night? What kind of question couldn't wait until morning? And what might have unfolded if she hadn't held her ground? Sophie is a solo camper from Denmark who documents her outdoor adventures throughout Scandinavia. Her channel revolves around getting out into the wild, whether that means quiet forest overnights, extended backcountry trips, or simply testing her own limits by spending a night alone among the trees. And that last one is exactly what brings us here today. For this outing, she decided to sleep overnight in an open-sided wood shelter deep in the forest, something she had never attempted before.
To stay here in this wood shelter. We have quite a lot of these permanent wood shelters all around Denmark, and they have become very popular to camp in because you don't need to bring a tent, you just need to bring a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag, and then you have this lovely...
The particular shelter she picked sits just a short distance from Copenhagen's main airport. which means a plane roars overhead roughly every 5 minutes throughout the entire experience. Not quite the remote wilderness escape most people imagine, but for Sophie, being out in nature is what counts. Once she's set up and has collected enough firewood, she settles into her evening routine. She gets a campfire going and prepares a classic Danish camping dish. Hot dogs wrapped in homemade dough and cooked on a stick over the flames. But as the food sizzles away, the sun dips below the horizon, the air turns cold, the trees grow dim, and the whole atmosphere begins to shift.
Number 2. This ended up being quite a late dinner, but it was very good. 2 hot dogs. Now I'm full. Oh, I actually could have eaten one more. But
the video never actually offers an explanation for these lights. They show up once while she's mid-meal, then appear a second time shortly afterward. 2 distinct occurrences that she never addresses in her narration, yet the camera catches them both.
now the forest is starting to make a lot of sounds. I don't know what it is. As soon as it gets dark, all sounds just becomes a little bit scary. I have no idea if you can hear this on the camera, but there are these branches snapping or breaking in that direction. But I get a tiny bit scared whenever I hear that sound. But it's probably just a deer or something. I actually did see a deer on my way here when I was biking. Now I can hear some people talking in that direction. But I mean, we are very close to the city. And a lot of people are using this forest area. And now my flashlight is flickering.
Plain as day, even with all of it. The unexplained lights, the strange sounds, the distant voices, the flashlight giving out. Sophie pushes forward. She arranges her sleeping bag so the open end faces out toward the forest, keeping her line of sight clear. Come morning, she's still there. She proved to herself that she could pull off a solo weeknight shelter camp and still show up to work the following day, despite whatever was lurking out there in the dark. So what's your take on those mysterious lights? Have you ever run into something you couldn't explain while out camping? Drop your thoughts in the comments. On a calm afternoon, Russ headed out to visit an isolated historic location, camera ready, determined to capture whatever the place had in store.
Babe, what was that noise?
As he made his way toward the site, Russ reflected on its historical significance and pointed out the route they need to follow. A heavy smell of wet soil and rot hung in the air, casting a quietly unsettling mood over everything that lay ahead.
Dude, guys, there are literally 2 caves and woods over here. No, but it sounds far away. Yes, but...
Pushing further in, the surroundings became increasingly wild and remote. He took a moment to acknowledge the untouched stillness around him, pausing just briefly before pressing on, even as the feeling of complete isolation began to close in.
Ask other people if they hear what that is. Where are the other people, we should get on a boat. Guys, I'm not hearing it anymore. First of all, we should get off the island. Do you think it's over? Because that is loud. Alright, so we just heard like a weird noise like 4 times. Not hearing it again, but that was weird. Be a bear. Like, did a bear fall off the tree? No!
It's not a painful noise, I don't think.
Oh, shoot! Okay, it was definitely...
The deeper they went, the heavier the silence became, with nothing but the crunch of footsteps and the whisper of shifting leaves to fill it. Russ found himself contemplating how life somehow persists in abandoned spaces, until something snagged his attention, rattling him for a moment before he shook it off. Then, without warning, a burst of unsettling music pierced the stillness, cranking the tension up another notch. Once it died down, he muttered something strange about money, almost as though he was trying to anchor himself back to reality. What was really going on in that moment remains an open question. A technical hiccup with the audio, or something that defies easy explanation. Whatever it was, the whole experience stayed with him, a quiet reminder that certain places and the secrets they hold might be best left alone. Uploaded to YouTube on April 22nd, 2025, this next story centers on Morozov one of the boldest and most unrelenting paranormal investigators on the platform, as he ventures into what he describes as the most spiritually oppressive and dangerous apartment he's ever stepped inside. Renowned for hunting ghosts and demonic presences throughout Russia and Eastern Europe, Morozov isn't someone who scares easily, yet this time he openly admits he may have pushed things too far. He describes the apartment as having a deep-rooted history of inexplicable events, shadowy figures, objects shifting without explanation, disembodied voices, and sudden temperature drops that occur even during the warmer months. Former residents reportedly abandoned the place without looking back, and people living nearby have described hearing what sounds like growling coming through the walls. Morozov isn't there simply to observe, he's there to make direct contact. He arrives late at night, carrying an arsenal of equipment, multiple cameras, an EMF reader, a thermal imaging device, and a walkie-talkie system linked up to an Ouija-style communication board. The atmosphere feels wrong almost the moment he walks in.
Итак, друзья, я в этой квартире.
His handheld thermal imager immediately starts picking up erratic hot and cold zones, with the most alarming readings concentrated in the kitchen and hallway, where temperatures swing violently between 22 degrees Celsius and 2 degrees within just a few minutes. Then the sounds begin.
В мониторах ничего не видно.
knocking, creaking, and voices too faint to make out clearly, but undeniably present. The microphone captures soft whispers that don't belong to Morozov, and when he reviews the audio, they appear to react directly to his movements. As he pushes further into the apartment, something dark sweeps across the hallway behind him, barely a second long, caught only in a camera reflection. He wheels around with his flashlight drawn, but there's nothing there. In the living room, he positions a trigger object, a doll placed beside a temperature sensor, and waits. Moments pass before the front door slowly groans open and then slams shut on its own. Morozov's composure begins to crack. He's visibly sweating even as the room plunges toward freezing temperatures. Then a violent crash erupts from the kitchen, plates smashed across the floor, plates he never went near. He appeals to whatever is present and asks it to stop, but the disturbances only intensify. The lights cut out, the radio erupts in screaming static. Whatever is occupying this space isn't mindless, it's aware, and it has its attention fixed on him. After close to an hour of relentless activity, Morozov reaches his breaking point. He announces out loud that he's leaving, collects his equipment, and makes for the door. He leaves the question open, whether this was a powerful poltergeist, some form of residual spiritual energy, or something far more sinister. But his conclusion is firm: he will never set foot in that apartment again. This wasn't a run-of-the-mill haunting. It was calculated, it was responsive, and it was something on a completely different level from anything he's captured on film before. Let us know what you made of this one. And as always, hit that like button. Posted on July 5th, 2025, this video opens with the warm, unhurried feel of a summer vlog. The creator behind the channel, Tommy Dial, is out of his off-grid cabin somewhere in the Midwest mountains, filling his days with fishing trips, cabin renovations, and checking his trail cameras. But tucked inside all that rustic, laid-back footage is something genuinely rare and hard to forget. Tommy's day kicks off the way most of his do. Morning breakfast, some time casting lines by the creek, and knocking out a few interior projects around the cabin.
After making our way down the mountain, the first thing on our agenda was to get this cabin cooled off because that summer heat was in full effect.
Then things take a turn when Tommy sits down to go through the footage his trail cameras have been collecting deep in the surrounding woods. Early on, it's the expected stuff: deer, birds, the odd raccoon, but then something stops him in his tracks.
Yep, that is a black bear. Oh my goodness. Look at him. If dangerous, why so fluffy? Oh my gosh. Wow.
If you're still here with us, drop the secret word camping in the comments.
Look at the color of this bear. That is a, they call these like a cinnamon bear. Come on, tell me there's more. What? These are literally some of the most rare bears. You see these mainly in states like Colorado, but here in Oklahoma, these are like incredibly rare. And I'm pretty sure black bears, like less than 5% of black bears are this color. So this is super, super rare to see one of these cinnamon colored black bears. Oh my goodness. There's gotta be more of him on here somewhere. And they had the camera fogged up. There he is again. Wow. Oh my gosh. Holy, that sucker's big. Are you kidding me? They're enjoying the view. Look at them. Oh, a cub. No way.
What he's looking at is a cinnamon-colored black bear, not a separate species, but a rare genetic color variant that only shows up in a small fraction of the black bear population. Tommy clocks it immediately and points out that while these bears turn up occasionally in places like Colorado, a sighting like this in Oklahoma is about as uncommon as it gets. The bear keeps showing up across multiple clips, each one giving a better look at that distinctive golden reddish coat and the animal's sheer size. And as Tommy keeps scrubbing through the recordings, the scale of what he's dealing with becomes clear. At one point, 3 bears are on screen simultaneously, and by the time he's gone through everything, he's counted at least 5 individual black bears visiting the same location, the rare cinnamon bear among them, plus a cub, which tells you just how active this stretch of wilderness really is. Unlike a lot of the footage you'll find in a compilation like this, there's no danger here, no unsettling figures, or strange noises in the dark. What this video delivers instead is something different, pure, unfiltered wildlife wonder, the kind of moment most people spend years hoping to stumble across. The quiet nature of the encounter almost makes it more striking, not less. Tommy handles it the way someone who genuinely respects the outdoors would, calm, observant, and clearly aware of just how significant what he's looking at really is. No panic, no spectacle, just a man in the woods realizing the wilderness still has the ability to surprise even those who know it best. And on that note, we've reached the end of another episode. If you haven't hit like and subscribe yet, now's the time. And go ahead and drop a comment letting me know what worked for you and what didn't. There's a serious amount of content coming your way, so make sure you're subscribed because you genuinely won't want to miss what's ahead. Stick around, more videos are going to appear on your screen in just a few seconds. And with that, I'm gone. The next video of the evening comes from Wandering Simon, a YouTube creator based in the UK who focuses on solo wild camping, hiking, and venturing into remote corners of Scotland. His channel is built around the feel of the natural world, weather patterns, shifting moods, kit reviews, and the quiet hardships of living outdoors, all presented as atmospheric experiences rather than adrenaline-fueled adventures. It's December 19th, 2024, at THRLL Reservoir in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Got myself some coffee. I'm heating up more water for my cup noodles. I don't feel it today, to be honest. For some reason I set up my whole thing. And I'm just not feeling relaxed. I'm hoping this will pass and I'll stay the night, but it's possible that I'll eat, spend a few hours, and then head back home. Because there is no point for me to stay if I'm not enjoying it as much. And I'm trying to figure out what it is that makes me feel like this today. Is it the weather? It's very gloomy today. It's just, there is no sun, there is no clouds, it's just grey. There is no wind, which is great. And the place, it's a very nice place, but you can definitely tell that people have been coming here. There is a little bit of rubbish here and there. There is some sort of a smell that I can't put my finger on, but it's not a pleasant smell. It just feels like a place where people go to get drunk, set up fire, and then leave the mess behind them. I'm not super happy about the location of my camp. some people already passed me, and it's just not something. It's just, I don't know if you can hear those shouts and noises, and I think there's a dog.
Simon takes a dip in the reservoir's waters. He'd arrived at the location with his brand new One Tiger setup, but almost from the start, something felt off. The sky hung low and overcast, the ground was wet underfoot, and the whole place carried a subdued, uncomfortable energy. The site was far from secluded. Voices drifted through the trees, footsteps could be heard along the path, and dog walkers passed through regularly.
But I can tell you what I think about the chair. I like it. It's nice. Am I still recording? Yes. It's a really nice chair. This is exactly what I wanted. I just hope it will hold my weight. Hiya. So someone just passed me by with dogs. I says hi, and they don't say anything. Strange.
As he went to prepare some food, the unease intensified. A stranger walking their dogs came right through his camp. Simon acknowledged them with a friendly greeting, but received nothing back, their silence carrying a strange, almost deliberate quality. Between the uneasy atmosphere and the constant foot traffic, he'd had enough and decided to pack everything up and call off the attempt. He came back the next day, relocating to a quieter and more familiar stretch of the reservoir. The vibe was noticeably better, the spot more sheltered, and the water ran clearer. He managed to cook a proper meal, unwind, and eventually settle in for the night. Still, a nagging sense of unease refused to leave him entirely. At some point, distant figures directed lights toward his camp, putting him back on edge all over again. What started out as a straightforward gear test ended up becoming a reminder of just how fast the mood of a wild camping trip can deteriorate. A bad atmosphere, a few unsettling encounters, and some unexplained moments are all it takes to throw everything off. There's so much in this world that we simply can't explain. And sometimes, the real threat isn't what you can see. It's whatever lurks just beyond the light, making sounds you can't quite place. History. This footage comes from the channel Welcome to the Woods UK, where the host documents his time outdoors, covering everything from solo camping and survival techniques to hiking, bushcraft, and equipment reviews. On April 9th, 2023, he headed out on yet another solo trip, making his way back to a dense stretch of woodland where he previously encountered some unexplained activity. Determined to get to the bottom of it, he chose to spend the night there once more. After arriving at his selected location with all his gear and bivy bag, he got to work setting up camp, whittling wood and constructing a basic shelter to serve as overhead cover.
I've been working away on this now for about an hour and a half or so, just literally plodding along. The idea was I was going to try and make like a platform structure, so I could be up off the floor, like sort of waist height, and then have a roof on it. I've changed my mind. What I'm actually going to do is I'm using this old fallen tree, which I've done multiple supports here in the ground, and then obviously fastened off to the side. I'm actually going to build a roof and two back walls and have this as the front open, so I can actually have a raised bed in there and sleep under there eventually and look out across through the woodland, and then it borders a field. So yeah, it should be a nice solid structure, to be honest with you. That's the sleeping situation sorted out. Got my wall blanket, my roll out pad, little self-inflating pillow and a one Tigerus duck down camping duvet. My little bucket seat. So the last time I actually stayed in these woods was back in January, and for all you people that haven't seen that video of that night, there was lots of unexplained noises. I'm not a paranormal channel, by the way.
He then got his dinner going on a compact stove with nothing but the deep quiet of the forest around him. Once he'd eaten, he took a short wander through the surrounding trees and even did a quick rundown of his lantern before finally climbing into his bivvy for the night. But that tranquil woodland silence wasn't going to hold. Sometime later, he was abruptly snapped out of sleep by something deeply unsettling, tearing through the stillness of the night.
It's just gone 1 in the morning. The same as last time. I keep on hearing like branches or something getting thrown. It's just inky black. I don't know what's going on here. Something's not. That was loud. Oi! One second, I want to get out. Honestly, every time I come to this poxy woodland, thinking about it though, I have just had a good 10 minutes walking about. I shouted out. I didn't hear nothing, deadly still. Thinking about it though, there's quite a lot of deadfall here. I mean, me being realistic now. It could be that I'm getting in the... I thought I heard a sound then, no. It could be that I'm getting in nice and quiet in my bivvy bag, and then I'm noticing the noises. But I've been doing this a long time. I've been out in the woods hunting. I think I might just have the jitters with this bit of woodland, to be honest with you, because I've had quite a nice evening. But trail cam's on anyway, so I'm going to get back to bed. And if there's anything more to report, I'll let you know. But let's turn this light off.
He started picking up the sounds of movement and footsteps right outside his bivvy bag. Something or somebody was circling the campsite, even lobbing small objects around as though it wanted to make itself known. Yet the moment he scrambled outside to investigate, there was absolutely nothing there, no animals, no tracks, no movement of any kind, just silence. He combed the area for close to 10 minutes and turned up zero evidence of whatever had been lurking outside his shelter. One thing he couldn't shake: he had not been alone out there. The nature of those sounds, objects being hurled around, wasn't something you could pin on wildlife. Solo camper posted footage from her night spent in a centuries-old graveyard dating back to the 1800s. Things appeared completely uneventful at the start. She discovered a secluded clearing tucked behind dense brush and trees and got her tent and equipment set up. Once her campsite was ready, she took her camera and strolled through the burial grounds to pass the time before nightfall. That's when things took a strange turn.
Those dogs are barking at me. I'm probably the only one that's here at this time. They're going crazy.
As she filmed the worn and weathered grave markers, she picked up the sound of what appeared to be children shrieking somewhere off in the distance. She had assumed she was entirely alone out there. As it turned out, she couldn't have been more wrong.
So if you can't tell, it's pretty dark here right now, but there are kids here, like young kids in the cemetery. And I'm wondering how active this place actually is. Do people come here at night and kind of party in the forest or something? Anyways, I'm heading back to my spot. The dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here. So I think I'll finish my exploring tomorrow morning. And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See? I think they know I'm here. That's not good. Fuck. I'm gonna keep this recording. Just in case. But I'm also gonna stop and find out what they're doing, if they're actually watching me or not.
Heading back toward her campsite, she noticed a group of kids some distance away who had likely already spotted her. Her assumption was that they now knew someone was out there and were attempting to scare her. Even so, she wasn't about to let her guard down. She kept her camera rolling just to be safe and made a point of ensuring no one trailed her back to her concealed spot. Once she returned to her hidden camp, she got a small fire going to make dinner. That decision would turn out to be a serious error in judgment.
I just had to put out the fire because there are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of a forest, especially when it's dark out. So I might pack up and get out of here.
Not long after the fire caught and the flames began to rise.
Okay, I'm packed up. I'm ready to go. So, luckily I have a friend that lives around this neighborhood, so maybe I'll just go continue this night in their backyard because I was looking forward to having a nice night. And there's still people here. I can barely hear their voices, but they're like way off in the distance. And there's the occasional dog bark. That dog that was barking at me, he keeps barking.
What those kids were actually planning remains a mystery, because she had already made the wise call to avoid any confrontation, quickly packing up her belongings and quietly slipping out of the cemetery, being especially careful to stay hidden the entire way. The next terrifying clip comes from Rhodey, a YouTube channel dedicated to adventure, travel, van life, and stealth camping. The channel follows road trips and ventures into remote, lesser-known spots, with Rhodey documenting everything from the rewarding moments to the unexpected and unsettling ones that come with living life on the road out of a vehicle. It was the night of December 11th, 2017, and Rhodey had pulled into what appeared to be a deserted, peaceful parking lot around midnight, intending to bed down for the evening. Things took a very different turn though, because what unfolded next was genuinely disturbing. The footage starts with Rhodey giving some context about what led up to the encounter, along with a look at the truck he was sleeping in that night.
So I'm just gonna make a quick video on a weird situation I found myself in the other night, sleeping in my truck in the parking lot. And yeah, sleeping in random parking lots and stuff isn't ideal. I always try to avoid it. So this is my truck. It's a 2003 Tacoma. Got it set up with a camper shell and a little room in the bed. Back living at my house now mostly, but was out this past weekend and was headed home. It was getting pretty late, so I decided to pull off the freeway and sleep in what looked like a pretty quiet parking lot. I'll just go ahead and show it here. By the way, guys, this encounter isn't action-filled or juicy or anything like that. I don't get out and square up with the guy. So if you're looking...
So what's your take on this one? Was a stranger simply attempting to break into Rhodey's vehicle, or could there have been something far darker going on? Fortunately, Rhodey walked away completely unharmed, but the whole thing stands as an unsettling reminder that just because a place looks deserted doesn't mean you're truly alone out there. Drop a comment and tell us what you would have done if you've been in his shoes.
So it was probably around like 1:30 in the morning when I heard someone walking around my truck. And whenever you're sleeping, somewhere public and you hear somebody walking right outside your truck, it's always a little bit alarming. So what you'll see here in a second, he pulls out his phone and starts taking pictures. It looks like of my license plate or something like that. I'm not sure why he was doing this. So I thought maybe you know, I wasn't allowed to park there, and he was taking pictures of my license plate. But it's kind of odd to be doing that at 1:30 in the morning, and he didn't look like a security guard or anything like that. Also, some of you may be wondering why he's not able to see me in the back. And where I was parked, the street light shined into the cab, but the camper shell has really tinted windows, so it was pitch black in the back where I was. So after he'd done a few laps around my truck, and I could tell it looks like he's up to no good, he comes back around and tries to shine his flashlight into the back of my camper shell. You'll see here in a second. And I just bang on the window, and he takes off running. So he probably wasn't expecting that. So yeah, that was basically it. He took off, and I hopped out of my truck, got in the driver's seat, and took off somewhere else to sleep for like 5 more hours or whatever. So this is a good example of why I never really like to sleep in like parking lots and stuff like that. During the summers, I live out of my truck a lot, but it's always at either work or campsite. Okay guys, real quick, look at my door right here, and you'll notice it's a little bit cracked open. And so I think what happened is I forgot to, I didn't forget, but I just didn't close it all the way when I went to bed. And so it was locked, but it was still not.
There's so much in this world that remains beyond our understanding, and sometimes the real threat isn't something you can see coming. It's the things that lurk in the dark, barely making a sound. Brought to you by Cam Prime, a channel built around solitude, the natural world, and the quiet strength that comes from sleeping somewhere far outside your comfort zone. In this episode, Ren heads out on his own once more, this time to a location wrapped in deeply unsettling local legend. Somewhere deep inside a Japanese forest, far removed from any signs of civilization, he's planning to spend the night sleeping in his car. What begins as a peaceful getaway, however, soon starts to shift. A forest that won't make a sound, an abandoned structure nearby, and an ever-growing feeling that he might not be the only one out there. With his setup sorted and the evening ahead of him, Ren settles in with a warm cup of tea, letting the surrounding stillness wash over him. The forest feels hushed and gentle at first, almost serene. He watches the last of the daylight drain away as shadows begin to swallow the landscape. That tranquil beauty gradually replaced by something cooler, something darker. Once dinner is done and the night has fully closed in, Ren retreats to his car and puts on a horror movie to pass the time. The Blair Witch Project of all things. It's almost too on the nose. A film about a group of filmmakers swallowed up by a haunted woodland. He chuckles at the coincidence early on, but as the story unfolds, the boundary between fiction and his own situation starts to feel uncomfortably thin. The doors are locked and the trees outside haven't moved, yet that slow, creeping sensation of unseen eyes begins to settle in. He tries to shake it off, repositioning his pillow, adjusting the light, but a low, persistent unease has taken root and won't let go. When the movie finally wraps up, a new problem surfaces. He needs to step outside to use the bathroom. Something that should take 30 seconds suddenly feels like a much bigger ask. The moment his feet hit the trail, the forest feels transformed. The dark seems thicker somehow, the silence almost pressurized. And then, cutting through the trees, a flash of something. 2 faint points of light, hovering out in the distance. They have the unmistakable look of eyes, fixed and waiting. Ren doesn't hang around to get a closer look. He spins around and heads straight back, hoping his camera managed to catch whatever that was. Safe inside the car again, he goes through the motions of winding down, brushing his teeth, rolling out his sleeping mat, talking himself into believing the rest of the night will be uneventful. But sleep doesn't come easily in a place like this. Every creak sounds like a footstep. Every whisper of wind feels like something breathing just outside the glass. Somehow though, the hours pass, no knocking, no strange sounds, just an unbroken quiet. By the time morning filters through, there's a gentle calm to everything. Sunlight threads between the branches, birds find their way back to the treetops, and whatever dread the darkness carried starts to feel distant. Ren takes his time putting together breakfast, assembling a sandwich from leftover cabbage and croquette. But that image hasn't left him, those two luminous points hanging in the black. He still doesn't have an answer for what they were. So what's your take on what Ren encountered out there? A curious animal passing through, or something else altogether, lurking just past the edge of the light? On July 8th, 2025, YouTuber Exploring with Angelo embarked on a stealth camping adventure in Canada's Mabu Highlands, a region long whispered about for its haunted reputation and numerous reported Bigfoot encounters over the years. Even with all the warnings and unsettling local legends, he pushed forward with the trip.
Highlands, and apparently there is rumored to be a Bigfoot out here, and not only that, but also possible paranormal, I don't even know. Nobody really knows for sure what is out here, but there are a couple stories about potentially a Bigfoot and maybe other paranormal. Honestly, this trip has been a once in a lifetime. It's been pretty freaking awesome, and really enjoyed spending time with my friends and experiencing tons of new things, new places that I haven't done before, so that was cool. I really enjoyed the icebergs. That was one of my favorite spots. Just heard like a car horn or something. Which is weird because I don't hear a car. It didn't sound that far. Figured I'd just check, might as well. Would like to know if somebody's coming through. It'd be, oh. What the heck is that? Something there, but I don't have my flashlight, so I can't tell what it is. What is that? Is it a deer? It could be like a bobcat, actually. Hang on. I don't see anything else. Yeah, I definitely gotta grab my rifle soon, just in case. I wanna know what that is. I'm not gonna get too close, but I wanna get a little closer. I wish I had my flashlight on me so I can...
After catching sight of something peering straight into his lens, its eyes reflecting back at the camera, Angelo was already rattled, but the moment he turned around, he claims to have heard a bizarre honking sound coming from the opposite direction.
Okay, I literally just heard honking down that way now. Wait, how's that? That doesn't make any sense. I heard it down there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the 3 knock thing to see if something responds, because I mean that's what Bigfoot is supposed to do, right? So we'll try that. First I might as well get the tent ready before I'm too...
Getting no reply whatsoever. It was obvious that whatever was out there didn't appreciate his presence, so he attempted a handful of different techniques to draw it out. The loudest of them all would quickly turn out to be among the biggest mistakes he'd ever made in his life.
Rocks, I guess, for now. I was gonna start building a fire pit, but to be honest, I don't really have enough rocks available. So, alright, Bigfoot, if you're out here, show yourself. Okay, that's... I mean, you never know, an area like this, it would only make sense to potentially have something out here. Okay, that was something. That was legit 3 knocks. Down in that direction. Let's do it again. don't know if that's just naturally happening or if something is actively doing that out here. Bigfoot? I mean, something was knocking out here repeatedly, so.
But just as he made the call to return to camp, the something that had apparently been hiding among the trees the whole time revealed itself once more.
Hearing something. It almost sounds like something mumbling down off in that direction. What is going on over there? I just heard somebody call out again. What the hell is that? Literally nothing. I don't see a single thing out there. Let's rest here. Okay, now you're at a plane. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna try and go back to sleep. I fell asleep for literally 10 seconds, I think. Oh my gosh.
Watching his every move. Even now, nobody can say for certain whether it was a genuine Sasquatch tracking him through the woods that night, or simply a deer, or perhaps something else altogether. When a camper returned to his tent after a hike, he discovered something that stopped him dead in his tracks. A snake had made itself at home inside. The intruder appeared to be a puff adder, a notoriously dangerous species whose venom can deliver a devastating bite. For the moment, the serpent remained completely still, showing zero hostility and making no move to attack. Unwilling to test his luck, the camper opted to ride out the rest of the night in his vehicle, waiting patiently until his uninvited guest decided to move on. Posted on June 29, 2025, this footage stands as a striking reminder that nature's raw power can reach just about anywhere, even the cramped cab of a parked semi-truck. Our trucker is sound asleep when he's snapped awake by blaring emergency sirens and alerts lighting up both of his phones at once. The weather had been unsettled heading into the night, but now it's official. A tornado warning has been issued for his exact area, and the storm looks to be heading straight for him.
Good morning. I just woke up to sirens going off with possible tornadoes here in Minnesota. I'm under a tornado warning. I'm here at my receiver for tomorrow morning, and yeah, look at that cloud coming in behind us. Dude, it is so freaking eerie out here right now. There's no wind, there's no nothing. I mean, I hear there's a reefer running right there, but it is silent. There's no bugs, there's no birds, there's no nothing right now. Holy crap. I'm actually a little bit nervous. I don't know if you can see this behind me. Look at that cloud. Look at that. What the hell is that? Look at that.
He steps outside his rig for a moment to get a read on the situation, and what his camera captures is genuinely alarming. There's a massive cloud formation rolling in unlike anything he's encountered before. What really gets under your skin about this moment is the total absence of sound. The whole area has gone dead quiet. A classic, well-known sign that a tornado may be near. That eerie silence is then broken by rumbling thunder and flashes of lightning that throw sharp shadows across the side of his truck. For a brief stretch, he weighs his options, stay put or bolt for cover. The closest possibility is a large commercial building he's familiar with, one that has a bathroom designated as a tornado shelter. He gears himself up to sprint across the parking lot, only to find the building locked up, though the front entrance gives just enough access to serve as a last resort if conditions get worse.
If I see a tornado, I think I'm gonna break a window in this building, and it's a huge building. I think I'm gonna break a window, and I actually know where their bathroom is. Their bathroom is a shelter, a tornado shelter area in this building. Because I've been here hundreds of times. I think I'm gonna go in there. All right, it's actually getting freaking, I'm actually scared. I am gonna run to, man, they don't look open. I'm gonna run to these buildings over here It's getting bad super freaking quick. I don't know what the hell to do. Alright. Screw it. Let's go see if they're open. So this facility's not open, but their main door to check in is, now it's freaking pouring out.
And honestly, the situation deteriorates fast. The storm unleashes a brutal combination of heavy rain, crashing thunder, and hail that hammers relentlessly against the metal roof of his cab. When the rain briefly lets up, he makes his move toward the building, noting the wind had died down again. But the shelter itself is inaccessible, and now he's standing out in the open, exposed to lightning and incoming hail. He turns around and heads back to the truck, soaked to the bone, rattled, but in one piece. Once he's back inside, the storm presses on. The most dangerous phase of the tornado threat appears to have passed, and just after 12:50 a.m., the warning officially expires. The truck has held up, though it's taken a beating. He's exhausted in every sense of the word, not sure his nerves will settle enough to let him sleep. His original plan had been to rest at the facility ahead of an early morning delivery run, but that schedule is long gone now.
Soaking wet. But I think I made it through the worst part. Maybe now I can go back to sleep and get some rest. I can handle a thunderstorm. That siren was right behind me. That's what woke me up. And then both my phones were giving me the emergency alerts and everything like that. I actually got nervous. That's weird. I did. I actually got nervous. It's kind of dying down here a little bit. I mean, it's still raining, but that was so weird, like so eerie. 1 minute, dead silent. There isn't a sound. Like, no bugs, no birds, no nothing. And then all of a sudden the wind picks up and it's just whipping. And then all of a sudden there's no wind. Yeah, I was a little bit scared. Anyways, this is a trucker spending the night living through a storm. Whoa! That lightning strike was like right there.
By the time the first light of dawn creeps in around 4:50 a.m., the birds have come back and the sky is beginning to brighten. No ghost story here, no stranger lurking in the dark, just a head-on brush with one of the most unpredictable forces nature has to offer. The following clip comes from Johnny Paranormal, an Australian YouTube channel dedicated to documenting genuine paranormal experiences. The channel has built a strong reputation as a reliable source for creepy and unexplained footage. It's August 30th, 2021, and Johnny is hiking solo through Aokigahara Forest, a place notorious for its eerie silence, labyrinthine trails, and long history of paranormal reports. He was casually capturing the surroundings, towering trees, patches of sunlight filtering through the canopy, the occasional stir from the bushes below. Peaceful on the surface, yet the area carried an underlying unease, the kind of stillness that feels almost too complete, like the forest itself is holding its breath.
I wasn't mucking around at all. 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 wasn't mucking around at all.
Partway up a demanding incline, something suddenly grabs his attention, a rapid low movement darting to his left. When he went back and reviewed the footage afterward, a strange dark smear can be spotted cutting across the frame from left to right. It doesn't behave like any bird, bug, or recognizable creature, and it disappears just as fast as it showed up, in a manner that feels deeply wrong. So here's the question. Could that have been a spirit drifting past, a ghost caught in transit? There's something genuinely unsettling about the idea that something like that could be right there next to you without you ever sensing it. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. For our final video, YouTuber Wildberry ventured out into the woods back in November 2023, choosing a crisp mid-October autumn day to construct a tarp shelter. She scouted out a location using a nearby tree and some surrounding rocks, piecing together what she was hoping would be a snug little camp for the evening. The rain began to fall just as she was fastening her DD tarp into place, though she stayed completely dry underneath it. The patter of raindrops overhead and the sweeping views of the trees around her made the whole setup feel just right.
Uh-oh. Ah, rain's coming! Wow, it's really coming down, look! Oh, isn't it beautiful? Been under a tarp in the rain.
It's just heaven.
Total solitude. Then, at around 6:30 in the evening, as the light faded and night crept in, she noticed several lights drifting through the trees not far from where she was camped. Multiple beams hovering in the same general area, possibly other campers.
Starting to get dark, so it might be a little bit chilly tonight. I just turned my lights off because I saw lights over there going up through the woods. So I'm hiding. There's multiple lights and they seem to be staying in the same area, so I don't know if they're camping over there maybe. There's not a lot that scares me out here in the woods except other humans. I've watched too much true crime. I think I've decided to pack up and go. I feel really on edge and I'm quite spooked. But I don't know how to pack up in the dark. But I just don't.
She ultimately decided to spend the night in her car rather than stick it out. And the whole experience left a lasting impression. A reminder that out in the wild, the most unnerving thing isn't always some unknown creature hiding in the dark. Sometimes it's simply the knowledge that someone else is out there, looking back into the shadows, and wondering the very same thing about you. Guy found himself deep in the woods well past midnight, desperately trying to navigate his way out. Out of nowhere, he sensed something shifting in the darkness around him. That's when he noticed a figure positioned just behind one of the trees. Not concealed, not fleeing, just watching. It was an unsettling stranger wearing this wide, unnerving grin. No movement, no words, just that frozen smile like he was anticipating something. The lost man held his gaze for a brief moment, then did exactly what any sane person would do, bolted, and never once looked back.